He waits until they sleep. No noise, no warning, just one swift blow. Skull shattered. Life gone. Silence. The only trace? A bloodied stone left beside the body. No fingerprints, no footprints, no witnesses. Just death. Cold, methodical, brutal. By the time Bombay wakes up, he's already gone. Slipped back into the shadows. No name, no face, just one nickname that haunts the city, the Stoneman. June 1989, Calcutta, Bombay. It was just another humid morning. The kind Bombay knew too well. Sticky air, traffic horns, the distant roar of local trains. The city stirred. But near Calcutta station, something was wrong. 4:45 a.m. A municipal street cleaner was sweeping the pavement. Same route, same corner. But this time he stopped cold. A man lay sprawled on the sidewalk, face down. Still, too still. The cleaner called out. No answer. He stepped closer and froze. The back of the man's skull was crushed. The sidewalk beneath him was soaked with blood. Bits of bone, matted hair, and beside the corpse, a giant stone, covered in blood. A crude weapon, primitive, yet effective. The street cleaner screamed. People gathered. Some gasped, some gagged. Police arrived within minutes. The dead man was in his 30s. No identification, no wallet, no name. Another homeless man, they figured. But this wasn't just a death. This was execution. The stone? Not an accident. It had been deliberately placed, as if to taunt. Still, the cops chalked it up to street violence. Maybe a drunken brawl. They wrote it off. That was their first mistake. 10 days later, same city, different street. Another body. Same pattern. Face down. Skull caved in. Stone nearby. No valuables. No ID. The police blinked. Twice? In 10 days? Coincidence? Then came the third. And the fourth. All homeless men. All killed the same way. Late at night or early morning. Asleep on sidewalks. Smashed with a heavy stone. Always the same size. Same style. The media finally caught on. One headline screamed, "Serial killer stalking Bombay?" The public panicked. People started whispering the name the Stoneman. Some said it was the same killer from the 1980s. Others believed it was a copycat. But the fear was real. Why the homeless? That's what puzzled everyone. Why target the most invisible members of society? They didn't have enemies. They barely had identities. Was it because they were easy targets? Or was it something darker? Psychological, ritualistic, personal. The killer wasn't stealing anything. Not even loose change. He wasn't staging the bodies. No messages. No signatures. Just cold, mechanical slaughter. Who was he? Someone the city passed by every day? Someone who walked among them? Or a ghost in the night? Police in the dark. The Bombay police launched an investigation. They set up patrols, questioned locals, sent plainclothes officers to pose as homeless men. Nothing worked. The killer was too fast, too careful, too quiet. He struck and vanished. No CCTV in 1989. No DNA tracing. Forensics were basic. The only clue? The stones. But even those gave nothing. They were just ordinary construction rocks, picked up from roadside piles. Common. Untraceable. The case became a nightmare. Public pressure mounted. People wanted answers. The police had none. A pattern emerges. By August, 6 men were dead. Each one hit once on the head. Just once. That's all it took. The precision was chilling. The killer knew exactly where to hit, how much force to use. He wasn't guessing. He was experienced. Some investigators suggested he might have medical training, or perhaps had killed before. One retired officer later said it wasn't rage. It was calculation. Like he was ticking off a list. Fear takes over. People began avoiding certain streets. Vendors who used to sleep near their stalls started pooling together for safety. Night watch groups were formed in slum pockets. Even hardened street dwellers, the ones who feared no one, started sleeping with one eye open because no one knew where he would strike next. The press adds fuel. Headlines turned into horror stories. Death by stone. Killer strikes again. City held hostage by phantom killer. The killer didn't just murder. He terrorized. Bombay's homeless population, already ignored, already marginalized, became targets in a deadly game. But the killer didn't care. He kept striking. At night, at dawn, with zero hesitation. And every time, he left the same signature. A silent corpse. A stone soaked in blood. Was it a copycat? Here's where things got even darker. Because some officers started comparing these murders to an older series of killings. Back in 1985, different city, same method. Victims, homeless men. Weapon, large stones. The location, Calcutta. 8 people were murdered in the exact same fashion over a 6-month period. Same target, same execution, same eerie silence. The killer was never caught. Was Bombay's Stoneman just a continuation of that case? Had he moved cities? Started again? Or was this someone entirely new? No one could tell. But the possibility was terrifying. Because if it was the same man, he had vanished for 4 years and returned deadlier than ever. A city gripped by shadows. By September 1989, the death toll reached 9. All male, all middle-aged, all homeless. The killings were spreading from Calcutta to Dadar to King's Circle. The city had no choice but to accept the truth. They were dealing with a serial killer. But unlike other murderers, this one left no trail. No calls to police. No cryptic notes. No motive. Just blood. And stone. The killer's profile? Psychologists were called in. They built a rough profile. Male. Likely strong. Probably moves on foot. Blends in with the homeless. Possibly mentally unstable. But there was one chilling line in their report. He doesn't kill for pleasure. He kills because he feels he must. Was it a mission? A delusion? Or just pure evil? The murders stop, but the fear doesn't. Suddenly, it stopped. October came. No more bodies. No stones. No victims. Just silence. It was as if the killer had vanished. But where did he go? Did he flee? Get arrested for something else? Or was he still out there just waiting? The police never found out. No arrests. No confessions. No closure. The Stoneman had come and gone like a phantom. But the real horror? He might still be out there. Walking. Watching. Just waiting for his next chance to strike. Because the truth is, you can hide from a man with a gun. You can hear a man with a knife. But a man with a stone, he needs nothing, just your silence. And your sleep. A chilling flashback. Calcutta 1985. Before Bombay. Before the media frenzy. Before the name Stoneman even existed, there was Calcutta. The year was 1985. The city was drowning in chaos. Political unrest. Labor strikes. Slums expanding by the hour. And in the middle of it, something darker. A string of brutal murders, all eerily similar. Victims, homeless men, found face down, on pavements, in alleyways, under railway bridges. The cause? Skulls smashed with heavy stones. One blow. Precise. Lethal. No valuables stolen. No sign of struggle. Just silent executions. A grim pattern emerges. The killings started slow. One, then another. The police didn't connect the dots. Not right away. Just another dead beggar, they said. Then came the third, fourth, and fifth. By August 1985, 7 men were dead. All in different parts of the city, but all killed the same way. Stoned to death in their sleep. Same profile. Same weapon. The Calcutta cops were panicking. For the first time, they uttered the word. Serial killer. The media latches on. It didn't take long. Newspapers dubbed him the Stoneman. A name that would echo years later in Bombay. But back then it was just headlines. Stoneman strikes again. Who is Calcutta's phantom killer? The city was terrified. People started avoiding the footpaths. Even the homeless refused to sleep alone. No one felt safe. Because the killer didn't need a reason. He needed a stone. And darkness. The murders stopped. Again. Just like Bombay, the killings in Calcutta suddenly stopped. No warning. No arrest. September 1985, the last known victim. Then silence, vanished, as if swallowed by the night. The city breathed a sigh of relief, but that relief wouldn't last forever, because 4 years later, the murders would start again. Same method, new city, and this time, the body count would grow faster. Connecting the dots, too little too late. Back in 1989, as the Bombay police scrambled to catch their phantom, a few sharp-eyed officers stumbled upon something chilling. The Calcutta files. Same MO, same stone weapon, same victim type. Was it the same killer? Had he relocated? Changed cities? Picked up where he left off? The timeline made sense. 1985, Calcutta killings. 1989, Bombay killings. Same 4-year gap between first and last deaths in each city. It couldn't be ignored. Theories start swirling. Theory number 1, he was a nomad, a drifter, a loner, someone with no roots, easy to blend in, hard to track. He moves city to city, finds new hunting grounds, strikes, disappears. Could explain the 4-year silence. Maybe he killed in smaller towns in between. Murders no one ever connected. Theory number 2, mental illness or delusion. Some psychiatrists believed he thought he was doing good, cleansing the city, purging the streets. To him, the homeless weren't victims. They were targets, possibly symbolic of something deeper, pain, trauma, rage. This wasn't about money or pleasure. This was about control. Theory number 3, more than one killer. Here's the most terrifying idea. What if Calcutta and Bombay weren't linked by one man, but by a pattern, a template, a signature that inspired others? A second killer, a copycat. What if the original Stoneman had died or been imprisoned and someone else picked up the stone? No one could say for sure, but the questions only grew darker. Investigations fumble. Despite all the theories, the investigation went nowhere. No fingerprints, no witnesses, no suspects. No one even saw the killer. Not once. Think about that. Nearly 20 murders across 2 cities without a single eyewitness. That's not just luck. That's intentional. The homeless speak. Reporters eventually turned to the ones who were actually living in fear. The city's homeless. Their stories? Chilling. We sleep in groups now. We take turns watching. He doesn't make noise. We just wake up and one of us is dead. I saw something once. Just a shape. In the dark. Then nothing. Some claimed the killer looked like them. Wore tattered clothes. Moved like a ghost. But no one could describe his face. Because those who saw him didn't survive. Back to Calcutta, unsolved and forgotten. In Calcutta, the files grew dusty. After 1985, the Stoneman case went cold. No suspects, no follow-up, just a list of victims and a box of blurred photographs. To this day, no one in West Bengal police knows what happened. Some believe the killer died. Others believe he's still out there. Maybe he changed weapons. Maybe he stopped killing. Or maybe he's just waiting. The real horror? We don't know his name. We don't know where he came from. We don't know if he's still alive. He could be sitting next to you on a train, walking past you in a crowd, or crouched in the dark, stone in hand, waiting for sleep to take you. That's the kind of killer we're dealing with. One you never see coming. Bombay, October 1989. Something strange happened. The killing stopped. No more corpses on the sidewalk. No more crushed skulls. No more stones left behind like calling cards. Just silence. The city exhaled. Cautiously, but no one dared relax, because they knew the quiet wasn't peace. It was the calm before the next blow. The police panicked behind the scenes. By now, the media had turned ruthless. Every headline screamed for justice. Stoneman still roams free. Bombay police clueless. Is your street safe tonight? News vans swarm stations. Cameras pointed at clueless inspectors. And the pressure? Unbearable. Commissioners barked orders. Politicians whispered threats. The message was clear. Catch the killer, or someone's head will roll. Undercover operation begins. Desperate, the Bombay police hatched a risky plan. If the killer only attacked the homeless, then maybe they could lure him out. They turned to one of their toughest constables, named Constable Gunputrao Kadam. Stocky, silent, fearless. They gave him old clothes, dirted his face, sent him into the slums. His mission? Become bait. Every night, Kadam lay on the pavement, alone, motionless, vulnerable, pretending to sleep, waiting, listening, one ear always awake. Night after night, nothing. Days turned into weeks. No attack, no shadow, no footsteps, just silence. It felt like the killer knew, like he was watching, mocking them. Or worse, he was done, already moved on. Another city, another name. The operation was quietly scrapped. And Kadam, he left the force not long after. You lie down on a footpath long enough, he said, you start dreaming like the dead. A suspect emerges. Finally, then something cracked. Not in Bombay, but in Calcutta, a northern suburb. Police picked up a man for assault. He had attacked another vagrant with, of all things, a rock. It was nothing unusual at first, just another drunken scuffle. Until an officer noticed something. This man, he matched an eyewitness sketch from an earlier murder. Stocky build, deep scar on his chin, long arms, silent demeanor, and his weapon of choice? Always stones. Who was he? His name, Muhammad Ajmal Qadri. Drifter, 38 years old. No fixed address. Used to be a construction worker. Worked with stone. Knew exactly how much force it took to crush a skull. He was strong, unusually so, and something about him felt off. Too calm, too emotionless. The police started digging, and what they found, terrifying. His past was a maze. Qadri had been in Calcutta in the mid-'80s, worked odd jobs near train stations, disappeared in late 1985, showed up in Bombay in early 1989, lived near Calcutta for a while, then moved to slums near Dadar. His timeline matched almost perfectly with both waves of murders, and his profile fit everything the psychologists predicted. Solitary, highly mobile, no family, slight paranoia, strong knowledge of anatomy, and he never stayed in one place for long. But could they prove it? Here's the problem. There was no evidence, no fingerprints, no DNA, no witnesses. All they had was suspicion, circumstantial timelines, a gut feeling, and suspicion wasn't enough to charge a man with 9 murders. Qadri was held for a few months, then quietly released, back to the shadows. After that, Qadri vanished. No records, no sightings. Some say he moved south. Others believe he's dead. Or maybe he just faded into the background again. Like a ghost. Was he the Stoneman? To this day, no one knows. Some officers swear he was. Others believe he was just a disturbed man. A near miss. Nothing more. But here's the chilling part. After Qadri was released, the murders never resumed. No more bodies. No more stones. Nothing. Almost like the killer knew the police were too close and decided to stop. Forever. Or did he change? Here's a theory that haunts detectives even now. What if he didn't stop? What if he just adapted? Changed his method? His weapon? His city? No more stones. No more patterns. Just random violence. Hidden under different crimes. No one would ever notice. And he would keep killing. Silently. Effortlessly. The true terror. Because the worst kind of killer is the one you can't see, can't hear, can't track. One who walks among you, who doesn't need fame, or trophies, or attention. He only needs a quiet moment, a heavy object, and your head turned the other way. That's what the Stoneman was. A phantom, a shadow, a curse that slipped through cracks in the system. Let's be honest, the Stoneman should have been caught. He struck repeatedly, used the same method, chose the same victims, left the same signature, and yet he was never found. Why? Because the system failed. Again and again. Failure won. The victims didn't matter. Let's face it, he targeted the homeless. People's society looks through, not at, men without IDs, no families, no one to demand justice. Their deaths were easy to ignore. No press conferences, no national outrage, and the killer knew it. He didn't strike at random. He struck at the invisible. Failure 2. A fragmented force. Back then, police departments in India didn't share intelligence across cities. Calcutta and Bombay were dealing with identical murders, yet neither side connected them until it was far too late. Different jurisdictions, different case files, zero collaboration. And the Stoneman? He used it all to his advantage. Failure 3. No forensics. India in the 80s lacked basic forensic tech. No DNA database. No digital records. No CCTV. No behavioral profiling teams. The killer left behind crude weapons, stones. No fingerprints. No traceable materials. And unless someone saw him, there was nothing go on. But no one ever did. Not once. Failure 4. Media pressure backfired. Once the media got involved, police became desperate. They rushed operations, leaked misinformation, even picked up random suspects just to show progress. But it backfired. The killer either got spooked or amused, because right as the press heated up, the murder stopped. Like he was watching. Failure 5. There were no patterns except one. The police kept looking for patterns in time. Days of the week, moon phases, distances between scenes. But they missed the real pattern. Every victim was disposable. That was the point. This wasn't about territory, or revenge, or ritual. It was about power over the forgotten. A twisted game of dominance. That's why he never changed his method. He didn't need to. This wasn't the first time. Now here's the dark part. India wasn't alone. Because stone killers, yes, that's a real thing, have emerged in other parts of the world. Let's look at a few. Case number 1, the South African stone man, Port Elizabeth. Over 10 homeless men were found dead, each with their heads smashed by large rocks. Victims were all vagrants, killed while asleep. Stones weighing up to 30 kilograms were used. Sound familiar? To this day, unsolved. Case number 2, the Phoenix Rock Basher. Phoenix, Arizona, 2014 to 2015. A string of homeless killings near train tracks. Some victims beaten with bricks, others with large concrete pieces. Police arrested a suspect, but charges were later dropped. Again, no solid evidence. Case number 3, the Nairobi slab killer. Kenya, 2007. 8 homeless men murdered over 3 months. Each victim's head crushed with stone slabs or paving tiles. Police believed the killer was a fellow street dweller. But guess what? He was never caught. Why stones? Simple. They're everywhere. They leave no trace. And they don't raise suspicion. You don't need to carry them. You find them on site. By the time the body's discovered, the killer's gone, and the weapon's just another rock in the dirt. For forensic teams, it's a nightmare. What kind of killer does this? Experts say the Stoneman fits a rare but terrifying profile. The displaced executioner. Not killing for lust, not for money, not even thrill, but for control. These killers usually live on the fringes of society. They've faced neglect, violence, or humiliation. At some point, something snaps, and instead of turning the rage inward, they turn it on to others like them. But weaker, sleeping, defenseless, forgotten, no identity, no closure, no justice. Think about it. The Stoneman murdered over 20 people across 2 major Indian cities. He walked through train stations, slums, footpaths, left death behind, and no one knows who he was. He has no name, just a nickname, born from headlines, fading into dust. Is he still out there? Maybe, maybe not. He could be dead, or locked up, or even reformed, living a quiet life under a different identity. But here's what truly haunts investigators. They don't even know where to start looking. He was never really there. Only his victims. And the stones. The most terrifying possibility? It could all happen again. Another city. Another slum. Another silent killer, crushing skulls, choosing prey that no one will miss. And we won't even know. Until the body count starts rising, until the papers scream, Stoneman returns. Let's ask the hardest question. What if the Stoneman thought he was helping? Not just killing, not hunting for thrill, but cleansing the streets, some kind of twisted mission, some kind of self-appointed judgment. Insane or intentional. Psychologists have a term for this: delusional moral justification. It's when a killer believes they're doing the world a favor. Some call themselves prophets, others executioners. They pick targets society has cast aside, then convince themselves it's justice, even mercy. To them, murder isn't evil. It's their version of order. Let's go back to the victims. Think about who the Stoneman chose. Homeless, drifters, mostly men, middle-aged, sleeping alone. These weren't random attacks. They were carefully selected. He passed dozens of people every night, but only struck those who fit a pattern. Why? Why not women? Why not children? Why only this one group? A pattern hidden in silence. Here's what former profiler Dr. Solony Reddy said. It's almost like he was targeting what he saw in himself: weakness, failure, hopelessness. But instead of fixing it, he erased it. The theory? The killer saw homeless men as a reflection of his own fears. So he lashed out, not in hatred, but in twisted salvation. If I kill them, he might have thought, I killed the part of me I hate. Was he cleaning the streets? Some locals whispered it. They said the Stoneman was doing what the city wouldn't: removing addicts, alcoholics, petty thieves, men who begged, stole, fought in alleyways. Of course, it was a dangerous lie, but the idea spread, and in some twisted corners, the Stoneman became a ghost enforcer, a street legend. He became a myth. Soon, stories turned stranger. Children were warned. Don't sleep outside. The Stoneman will find you. Some said he was a spirit. Others swore he had no face. Some believed he wasn't human at all, just the city's revenge. It became urban folklore, and like all legends, it grew. That's the power of fear. The real killer? He vanished, but his shadow remained. People kept looking over their shoulders. Homeless shelters saw spikes in residents. Footpaths emptied at night. The fear stuck, even after the murders stopped. What if there was more than one? Here's a darker theory. One police source said, the attacks were so far apart, so clean, maybe it wasn't just one man. What if there were copycats? What if someone saw the headlines and thought, I can do this too. No one will care. A ripple of violence, inspired by another killer's silence. Untraceable, unstoppable. It wouldn't take much. Just a rock, a quiet street, and no witnesses. Stoneman isn't just a name, it's an idea. A symbol of how easy it is to slip through the cracks. How vulnerable we all are when the system looks the other way. The Stoneman used silence as a weapon. The silence of dark streets. The silence of ignored victims. The silence of police missteps. He existed in those spaces. And that's why he got away. Could he still be out there? He'd be in his 60s now. Old. Faded. Forgotten. Or maybe still out on the streets? Living in shadows. Watching from corners. No one knows. But here's what matters. He changed the city. He made people afraid of their own footpaths. He made police afraid of their own failures. And he reminded everyone that some monsters don't hide under beds. They sleep next to you on the pavement. What can we learn from this? 3 things. Every life matters. Even the forgotten. Especially the forgotten. Systems must evolve. Because technology alone doesn't catch killers. Attention does. Silence helps no one. We need to talk about the cracks. The failures. The unspoken fears. Because the second we stop, the Stoneman returns. Before Bombay, there was Calcutta. Rewind to 1985. Different city, different victims. Same nightmare. A string of murders in Calcutta began 2 years before Bombay's horror. Victims? Same profile. Middle-aged homeless men. Sleeping alone. Heads smashed in with heavy stones. Sound familiar? It started with one body. June 1985. Calcutta's sealed a railway station. A body discovered under a bridge. Skull cave in. Large bloodied stone nearby. No witnesses. No noise. Just a man turned to meet. While the city slept, police assumed it was a drunken fight. They were wrong, because then came the second body. And the third. By 1986, there were 13 murders. all unsolved, all in Calcutta, all within walking distance of train tracks, bus depots, and slums. Detectives started whispering, "We may have a serial killer." But no one said it out loud. No one wanted that word in the press. It would create panic. So they kept quiet. And the killer thrived. The murders suddenly stopped. Just as the heat started building, the killings ended overnight. Calcutta police sighed in relief. But that relief was short-lived. Because 2 years later in Bombay, the murders started again. Same pattern, same method, same kind of victim. Coincidence? Or migration? Some investigators believed it was the same man. He moved cities, left Calcutta behind, blended into Bombay's crowded sprawl. It made sense. He was careful, smart, invisible. Bombay was the perfect cover. But if true, that means one thing. He practiced, he improved, he evolved. The chilling possibility, a blueprint. Calcutta was the test lab. Bombay was the performance. The Stoneman didn't just kill. He refined his method. No weapons to carry. No blood on his clothes. No evidence left behind. He learned where security was weakest when the police shift changed. How long it took for bodies to be found. And then he struck again. And again. And again. But why stop? The last known Stoneman murder was in 1989. Then nothing. No arrests. No letters. No confessions. Just silence. Why? Did he die? Move again? Lose the urge? Or did he get what he wanted? Theory. He wanted to be forgotten. Most killers crave attention. Letters to newspapers. Phone calls to police. Trophies. Not the Stoneman. He left nothing. Said nothing. He didn't even try to be famous. Which begs the question. Did he want to be remembered? Or did he want to erase his victims and himself? A black hole in history. No identity. No legacy. Just a trail of skulls and silence. He became the ultimate phantom. No name. No fingerprint. No confirmed photo. Not a single suspect ever convicted. The killer vanished as quietly as he came. Not even the victims got justice. They were buried in unmarked graves. No families. No final words. The Stoneman erased more than lives. He erased entire identities. The final haunting thought. He may have never stopped. We assume he did. But what if he changed patterns? Avoided rocks? Became harder to detect? What if he started anew in a city that wasn't watching? With better tools, better planning, better hiding. After all, who's checking for Stonemen in modern cities? We're busy chasing digital crimes, DNA trails, cyber clues. But stones? Stones don't leave code. They just leave cracks in skulls. The real horror? We'll never know. Because the Stoneman's greatest trick wasn't murder. It was disappearing. Not into hiding, but into our blind spots. He knew exactly where no one would look. And now he lives in shadows, in stories, in myths, final words. So, who was the Stoneman? We'll never know. And maybe that's the point. Not all monsters need names. Some wear silence like armor. Some walk among us, unnoticed. They don't want to be caught or celebrated. They want to be feared and forgotten. And in that, the Stoneman succeeded. Completely. He walked the streets unseen. He struck without warning. And when the city tried to find him, he vanished like a shadow in the fog. The Stoneman wasn't just a killer. He was a ghost in a broken system. A monster we still don't understand. And the most chilling part, he could be anywhere. He could be watching. If you found this case as haunting as we did, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. So you don't miss the next Unsolved story. We uncover the forgotten, the unspoken, and the crimes that still whisper through the dark. This is not the end. It's only the next mystery waiting to be told.